everyone, and welcome to another episode on Love and Everything in Between the podcast. Today, we'll be talking about baggage, abuse, and the different things that we carry into relationships that we might be aware of or not aware of. We're going to try and navigate how to work through it and even recognize the signs. And with us, we have a wonderful couple that I know the husband, and I stumbled on the wife on social media, and I've been wanting to get them here on set to speak very candidly about these issues. And I'm very thrilled that they're here today, and I look forward to the conversations that we're going to have now. And here they are. Thank you so much for joining us.
Femi and
Leye.
it's interesting that I've known Femi since Dante, and I stumbled upon it
Yeah.
before I knew
Realized,
that it was Femi.
yeah.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah, it was a post
Yeah.
that you had on
On Instagram, and then
yeah.
I saw
You showed me, and we're talking about it. I'm like, okay, then
and
next
then
thing
I just saw
Femi.
it was in Leye. And then I said, Femi is following. Wait, could it be? Could it possibly be? And it was.
I'm like, oh, small world.
And then it's really great. Both of you are doing great work. Femi is the guitar man of Africa. Like, I've not seen any guitar. Like, I did beef fish. That is Femi is doing what I wanted to do when I was a kid. I used to play the guitar and I'll be strumming and people were feeling it. And just never, I was never able to. And then Femi would just take guitar and be in Carlos Santana.
Femi is proud.
He's
proud, I know.
You're not sure. Everything is like this. I'm like,
We're working on the fruit of spirit of humility.
yes,
Mm.
be
Help you.
humble.
Yep.
And then Ini is multifaceted. Yep. Ini does so many things. But one of the things I find most interesting about you, Ini, is the fact that you're really authentic and you are honest. And it's really refreshing to find someone who is completely honest and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to
I think that was
help
the
other people. And I think it was that vulnerability
that got to me.
that really, and I was like, no,
We must have them.
about it. She needs to come on and, because it's inspiring. So I think before we jump into anything, just tell us a little bit about yourselves, your marriage, how you guys got together, etc. The work you do.
Wow, okay.
She's the perfect orator.
Okay, so where is okay?
Where we started from? Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I used to work at a radio station, and I was an intern at the time I met Femi. In fact, I didn't even really meet him. He came to play backup for
somebody.
an artist at the time. I was an intern along with some other people. There's this girl there, that was interning with me. She had her bumble was big. Femi was calling her number. You didn't even say hi to me, nothing.
I mean,
Before no bomb.
I always remember that day. To be honest, in my heydays, I didn't hate. So I can't blame.
You can't blame it.
Anyway, so that was the first time I met him. That was the first time I heard his name. Then
Okay.
after that, I went for this what did you call
Open
it?
mic.
Open mic thing, and
Oh.
he was a headliner. I was like, oh yeah, this guy. Seeing he was headlining the show.
Sure.
I was like, he's really good. I have an ear for music. So the people I was with, they weren't even listening, paying attention, but I was like paying rapt attention. So I was like, this guy is good. And after that, I started working at the radio station. I explored his music in the system. Just one song. I was like, it can't be possible that this guy's music that is so good. It's just
One song in the system.
So I remember I reached out to him on Twitter. I tweeted one of your songs and he responded. So I DM'd him. I was like, we need more of your music. Do you have any more? So I told him to bring it to the system, bring it to the station. That was, it was not like I could just send it. He actually brought the CDs and everything. And so I played his song over and over again. I didn't know that this guy was maybe catching feelings. I just want to be a good person.
Make sure you're not catching feelings.
To be honest, this story, in fact, this story, I'm not really proud of this story. Because to be honest, I put Femi in there. If there was anything like a dungeon that was deeper than the friend zone, I threw him there.
Wow.
It wasn't, and to be honest, I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I just felt like, oh, this guy is good. You make a friend, you want to help out. That's how I saw it. To be honest, the first time Femi told me he liked me, I was shocked. That was genuinely shocked because I was not looking there. Also, well, that was 2013. The very next year, my life turned upside down. So I think we
weren't
were
speaking for a
for a while, and then we now ran into each other, and oh hi, how you doing? And we picked up, just hanging out, just friend again. You have music, bring it, let me play. It wasn't until we ran into the first inkling I had that Femi like me is we ran into Luto.
No, Knack.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
And he's a very good friend of my sister's and our good friend now. And he was like, oh, he just said, are you guys dating? I was just like, it was so weird to me. And then I was expecting to look at Femi and he would have the same expression
On his face.
Well, he was blushing. I was like, what's happening here? What's going on? But anyway, fast forward, Femi was actually on my case for like 3 years.
Wow.
And in that time, it was a really turbulent time for me. So it wasn't even like this was the last thing I needed. Also, Femi was as you're seeing this man, his heart is pure. He's there. I've been on the streets. I've been in fat.
She's not been on the street.
I've been to Lagos that I passed. I was probably. Wow. And so this man represented like, like I was sitting under these lights now, and it's just shining on you and showing you all your. I'm just like, it was annoying. Like, you can't just can you be good and keep to yourself? Leave me in my darkness. But eventually, the thing about Femi was that he was consistent, persistent. He was persistent in that he didn't, no matter what I did or what I said, he didn't go away. You could see that he'd be hurting, but he didn't go away. And then he was consistent in that he wasn't consistently pursuing, he was consistently kind. Like he didn't waver. He was consistently kind. And when I used to pray about a man that I would marry, that was the only thing I said, God, I want to marry a kind man. I want to marry someone that will worship the girl like God, this and that. And literally, it took, even when God told me that Femi was my husband, I remember praying one morning. My sisters had gotten married. And I was like, God, what if I love like my sisters? I have so much love to give. And so I'm such a lover girl. But men have dealt with me in this life, to be honest. So I was like, God, I'm just tired of heartbreak and heartache here. I just want to love. I was like, God, just give me a man. And then I started praying for my husband. And then literally I saw Femi's name written in the air. Also from that prayer, I said, no, it's okay. I didn't even wrap up the prayer like it just just gonna start making my bed, and then Femi started calling me at the exact moment I said
in the morning.
Could not be.
I didn't pick that call like
Both of you are trying to test me.
But eventually we started dating in 2016. I remember it was Valentine's Day, very corny. But it was just that was the day that it just
Something.
yeah, something like this is a good guy. And I thought to myself, I didn't love him. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love him. I did have some semblance of feelings for him. But I thought to myself, it won't be such a bad thing to try. If you try and it doesn't work out, it's fine. But the fact that he's been consistent, I'm looking forward. I hadn't had any form of consistency or stability with men. And he was
one.
So let's try this out. The guys, the bad guys, the big, tall, dark, and handsome guys I've dated, let's see if this will
Different would work.
And I just had a feeling like, I could have missed this. So I remember he was playing at it was Celebration. We were playing at Valencia, and I just got my I was having cramps. I caught up and I went surprised and I told him, and it was just, it was really like a telenovela. Because all of a sudden breeze was blowing. You could hear the trees and the branches. It's as if we just started this chorale, and everyone was just like, and then the lights were shining brighter.
Oh my goodness.
And it was evening time. It just, the colors were more,
Vivid.
vivid. Because, even the music, Femi had left the band, but then it was as if
They like,
Music was still playing.
everyone was a paid actor. And it was just, I was like, wow. But it doesn't mean that it got easier.
Yeah.
Because I remember even trying to chase this man in May, the year before. I tried to chase him. We started dating in February, December. I said, what, my last November stroll, my last card, checkup. I'm going to tell this man about my whole life, everything I've done, everything. I'm going to tell him. I didn't even get to tell him so much. I just told him a bit. I could see him just listening, just quiet. The way he's listening, just quiet. I remember he was following me home. I was just saying everything, just rapping, just talking. Then we call home. Can you just? And we got to my house. Femi says, "Let's pray," and that's when I knew that there was no getting out of this. This guy is not going anywhere.
He's here to stay.
But it didn't. We started dating the next year. It was okay. It was good. It was good. We just began to break down a lot of things. And
Yeah, so a lot of building and breaking down actually.
Yes, yes.
Because also, sorry to cut you,
no, it's fine.
because we are from kind of like different worlds. Honestly, in hindsight, I married up. That goes without saying. Because where I was coming from, what was available to me is like Omalata and Omonishombo and things like that. So it's beyond an upgrade for me to even be talking to someone like him in the first place. And then when we got together, some of the things that, okay, healing journey, especially for her, and we'll get into that, but also self-esteem issues for me. Before her, self-esteem was zero. In fact, it was in the minus. Right, I couldn't walk into a room and look at people's faces. Like I was always putting my head down. She was also telling me, "Look up, look into their eyes,
Make eye
shake them,
contact.
shake. You are great. You are this." And she has always been professing that, even from the time when we were friends. Do you understand? But when we started dating, she was like very intentional about it. Like, don't you understand who you are? And it's so funny. She still says it till now, because sometimes we are human beings. Things will happen, and as a man, sometimes some things will happen and it will shake your identity.
Yes.
And she will have to come and say, "Do you know who you are? You are Femi, the guitar man of Africa." And it's not like she's trying to hype me or anything. Like, it's just the fact. But she's just like shifting my perception into, okay, this is. And those were the things I saw from the get-go. I didn't know what life was going to deal with, how life was going to be, but I realized that with this woman, no, life was.
This is what God used to trap me because because God knows that I don't like injustice. I don't like that even stems from being bullied when I was younger. So I don't like it when I see people who can't stand up for themselves or see people who play on other people. I don't even have to know you. I could be passing on the street and I say that I will join your team. Don't worry, it's okay, let's go. Who made you cry? Let's go. So like when I met Femi and there was all of that, I was like, I said, no, I will even go to God on his behalf. I'll collect prophecy. I'll go back. I will stay. And, with all of that, Femi told me stuff. With all of that, it was really thawing my heart because I didn't even realize how hardened I had gotten. It thawed my heart because the truth is, for you to be able to even go to God on somebody else's behalf, it's love.
Yeah.
It's love. That's why I said that's what God used to trap me because after when I was just inside, I was too deep. I couldn't come out again. So, but this is how and then eventually we got married. The love actually grew. Ours was love.
Honestly, it wasn't love at first sight.
No.
I already loved her.
Yeah.
But
you needed it
Yeah.
reciprocated.
But to catch up, and she was very, very open and honest, which is what a lot of women don't do. Like, I don't love you right now. I like you as a person. You are cool. You are nice.
Let's
you
see how
understand?
it goes.
But give me time.
I told him that
She was
the day I went to that I was
like,
dating.
she was like,
I told him, I said, if you just allow me, I
allow
still have a
me
lot of healing to do.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to stick around for that, that's fine. And if you're okay with the fact that I don't love you right now, but I could grow to love you, I know that I could, and then that's fine. So
That's fun. That's such an interesting. Like it's really interesting telenovela thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think listening to both of you, you're talking about coming into the marriage with self-esteem issues. You're talking about healing. You both obviously had baggage that you came into the relationship with, and
listen.
She said, listen.
watching you now, I can tell that you've been able to deal with that to a very large extent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to hear someone talk about it professionally. Oh, this is what I do. This is how we. There's a formula. And
10 steps.
Yeah,
It's a different thing when
We spoke about it a couple
you
of
actually
And going
you have to
you're
go
living
through
it
yourself.
Yeah.
So can we talk about some of the things
that you had to
that you
heal
had to
on.
heal from? What are these experiences for both of you? What are the things? Because like I said, what I saw on Instagram was like,
Which one? What did
It
you
was
say?
it was the masturbation
Okay.
where
Yeah, the
where
pornography.
where
Yes.
you just put up a post on your story and say, okay guys, it's this o'clock. I know some of you are probably feeling like touching
Yeah,
yourselves,
it was
but put away
like
the pornography, put it
clockwork
on.
every
And
night.
I'm like,
Who is this person?
like because I've been there. Why are you casting the whole
Yeah, because these are
casting?
things people don't want to
People-
talk about.
Like people hide this stuff.
Yeah.
It's always behind closed doors. It's always hush hush. Nobody talks about it. Do you understand? So to see someone just come out and be vulnerable like that,
Yeah.
it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean everybody's gone through something. Everybody's gone through some form, especially in Nigeria. Like I don't know about other countries because I'm Nigerian, but abuse, for example, is everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Do you understand? But people just suppress it. So, do you want to walk us through some of that?
We start from 2014.
Okay, so we can start. Yeah, 2014 is a really good place to start. That was a gap in between when you and I met.
Yeah, you said your life fell apart.
Yeah, so it was a really good. Yeah, so in 2014, I was kidnapped and raped.
Sorry?
I was kidnapped and raped.
Kidnapped and
And
raped.
Yes. So, okay, how do I'll really try to summarize it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went out for my sister's birthday. It was in March. We went to celebrate it at a restaurant that doesn't even exist anymore in VI.
That was you. I read that post in a car. You came out to make a phone call.
Yes.
Yeah.
We came out to buy credit.
Yes.
Yeah. Then this car pulls up beside me. There are two guys in it. An elderly baba and a really big guy wearing glasses. It was dark. They're both holding guns. So he just asked me to get into the car. And there were people around. It wasn't dark. It was like past 6 to 7. The beginnings of evening time. So there are people around, but nobody moved to do anything because everyone clearly saw this guy. Yeah, saw this guy cock his gun at me. So I got in the car, and we didn't go anywhere in particular. It was just for a time. So we're just driving around in circles, around Adiola Adeko, Haramikotu, just entering different places. I did Togumba, Ademola, coming back again, Bar Beach Road, just driving around in circles. And so all I had on me was my office pass at the time, my wallet. They just paid my salary as well. And so they took my ATM card. The guy made his way to the back. My first instinct was to just open the door, let me just fly out. But now I know in hindsight that it was a child lock on the door because I couldn't open the door. So they asked me where I worked. I told them. They asked me, well, is it in VI? I said, okay, show us where your office is. I was really happy that, okay, maybe they'll drop me off at my office. They just zoomed past. That's when I knew that this was not a joke. So anyway, so we stopped off somewhere. Oh, by the way, this guy was slapping me around in the car because they asked me to close my eyes. But I wanted to know, this is how I knew where we were going, driving around in circles. I wanted to see where we were going. I wanted to know if they were going to zoom off to somewhere, The good thing is that I didn't have my phone because they kept asking me for my phone, but I didn't have it because I left it with a friend of mine. She was taking salsa classes. I was taking pictures of her. She wanted to see. So that's how I didn't have my phone. So I had 2,275 naira in my wallet. So they took that. First of all, he slapped me for not having more in my wallet. We stopped by somewhere. So he asked me to give him a blowjob. And I did it because I just felt like, maybe
let's do that.
and let me go, because my greatest fear was let them not rape me in this car because I'd heard so many stories. So while that was happening, I remember they stopped by somewhere. I didn't see the guy's face. Gave the person my ATM. I gave them the pin, told them everything, just take it. Told them how much I had, just take it. But then eventually he told me to take off my clothes. And I was crying. He kept shouting at me not to cry. He would knock me, he would slap me. They do all these things to make you cower. So eventually the worst did happen. He did rape me. So I remember sitting, lying in the car and just staring out the window. I just blanked out. I remember we were on Bar Beach Road. We stopped at a traffic light. I remember because there was a bus at the side of the road. People are getting on and getting off. And I was just thinking to myself, life is just moving along.
This horrible thing is happening.
It's going on in this car. So then they began to discuss how they would kill me because the Baba kept complaining that I wasn't closing my eyes. And every time he would, this guy would slap me, stuff like that. And I closed my eyes for just a few minutes, but I opened my eyes again. And I said, no, we have to kill her. We have to go. So, okay, when we kill her, will we drop her body? They started discussing if they're dropping me at the side of the road or they take me to a bar beach. Will they drop me by the water, just drop me on the shore, stuff like that. I was literally just thinking about how my family must be looking for me. And they would look for me, and then they would
They
just
can't reach
discover
you.
my dead body on the side of the road. I was just thinking, is this how people hear about how they die before they eventually die? Now, while I remember being in that car at the very beginning and just pleading the blood of Jesus, because I'd heard people say, I just pleaded the blood of Jesus, and then something happened, but nothing happened. I'll get to that later. So I remember that eventually they did drop me. They dropped me 2 streets behind my office at the time because that's the street where my auntie used to work. They just parked. And the guy made his way to the front. He came down. After he asked me to dress up, just open the door and told me to come down, and he gave me 275 naira from my money and told me to use a transport money to go to where I was going and gave me back my wallet, gave me back my office pass. And I just turned around blindly and started walking. And my plan was to walk all the way to my office because at least I knew the way, but I couldn't because my legs were shaking. Like my whole body, I was shaking, I was vibrating. And then I saw this baba by the side of the road who had probably closed for the night. He was eating. I just entered his car. I said, please, I need you to take me to my office. And he just dropped everything, started his car. Like he was like clockwork. He just kept asking my daughter, what is wrong? And I couldn't talk. I was just crying. So I just when I got to my office, I put all the money on his dashboard. I said, this is all I have. And he was just so worried. I was hoping I'd see someone in my office. I did. Saw two of the guys. I just told them that I was robbed. I just begged one of them to take me back to the restaurant. And I got there, everyone was outside, including the owner of the restaurant. Everyone was there. And then eventually some people saw me in the car that had come, and then some people started going. I remember seeing some of the people, the last dial numbers on my phone. My sisters had called them and they were standing right in the crowd. So everyone just thought maybe I just went up for some guy, or some people did. So I met my family friend at the side of the road, and she just kept saying, Inez, God that brought you back. I was praying, and I just whispered it to her because that's all I could say. And I just sat at the side of the road. It was like, it was the worst night of my life because I watched all my siblings find out one by one, and just see the different reactions. Two of my sister's friends were doctors. They were the ones who spurred everyone into action and said, we need to get her to a hospital. But then that was another ordeal because we went to about 7 different hospitals that night. No one wanted to treat a rape victim. We ended up at some clinic. In fact, not even too far from the restaurant where we were at. If we knew, we would have just started there because we went to the big names. We went to the big names. My brothers-in-law, they were there and they were like, let's just go. Let's just, they were trying to call the bank to try to get them to, but it was too late. They already taking all the money. But I didn't even care about that. But you see, let's not even get into the doctor. The person who eventually attended the whole hospital, the whole thing. We honestly need a rejig of the whole
system.
Oh my God, it was terrible. Like every single thing added to the nightmare of the night. Yeah. So after that, my life just went downhill. Like it was like a nosedive. When a plane is literally crashing and how it goes fast, that's how it went. Because, excuse me, I bought into the lie in my head that if I had sex with somebody else, I would get over the ordeal of being raped. That feeling will go away. But it was such a huge lie because it's a temporary high. It's like using drugs. You have sex with one guy. In the moment, it's okay. You don't feel a thing. You're just moving. But once you're done, everything comes back. Every single thing comes back. And you're now left with dealing with the anticlimax of having sex with someone that you don't even know, you don't even like, or someone that, well, you do know, but then now you've had sex with this person and you know how to deal with the fact that this person, you got past it, it's a body count. And then also the feeling like you're well aware in the moment that it didn't work. It didn't work. So the feeling is still there. So what was it for? So you're dealing with so much. I was dealing with so much. It was like a package that happened every single time. Then eventually I got involved with a married man. Well, when we got involved, he wasn't married.
Okay.
But it's not really an excuse. It's not. And so that went on for about 2-3 years. And it was crazy because there was that and there was this. And he was supposed to represent some form of stability, but it's not stability because this guy's going to get up and go home, This guy's going to go home, even if you guys are off at a hotel or somewhere. If his wife calls, he's going. It's not, that's another reason why I appreciated Femi when we got married. Because it was like I could call him. I didn't have to track the time. I didn't have to track when I could even say I love you. Like I didn't have to hide it. I could be open when when Femi and I started dating, when we got married, people were they were sick of us because I'm just like, you don't know anything. I used to love in bondage before. Now I love freely. You're jokers. You're joking if you think I'm gonna keep it on the wraps. You will all be we're all
will be
in
involved.
But anyway, so but it wasn't just him. It was all the other guys, everything, everywhere, and just being, thinking that I could save myself and not being able to, and the feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. And then I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep for about 2 years
Wow.
because it's like nighttime is when everything just
Comes to
became
you.
alive
Yeah,
and everything just comes back. During the day you can interact with people. This time everyone is asleep, and then you remember everything so vividly. So, and closing my eyes, I could see it. I could see it. I could feel it. I could smell everything. So I'd stay awake. Sometimes my sisters would stay awake with me, and they had work the next day. We all had work the next day. There was a time all of us used to work 9 to 5. Wow, none of us do anymore.
Life has
We all
life
had
has
work.
happened.
Yeah, and then they would stay awake with me. But here's the thing, you know, as sad and as dark as this story is, because it gets darker and it gets sadder. Um, One thing is sure, God never left. God was always there, always. He I remember the week this happened on a Saturday. I remember Sunday, I was going to my sister's like, we're all going to church. Let's go. But I couldn't say hi to anybody. Like if you even said hi, Ini, I would just start crying.
Crying.
So I was just in church, just pouring, like it was like a constant rainfall. I remember Monday, I said, I'm going to go to work. I remember that night when it happened, I remember thinking to myself, this is not going to change me. I'm not going to become a recluse or recluse. My life is not going to stop or be put on hold. So I was so determined to go to work. I just gave myself Sunday. Monday, I was like, I'm going to work. It didn't work because I got to work and people would say, hi, Ini, good morning. I'd just be crying. And so I had to tell my boss, I had to let him know. And I remember he sent me to this rehab center, which is another thing we need to work on. I'm sure there are a lot of centers that are doing great. But that one, I got there was no lights. The lady that I was talking to, she had thread in her hair. I have nothing against thread in her hair, but because I just took out a hairstyle with thread. But it was
just the environment.
The
it was
environment,
look
yeah.
about her. She was so dull. She just looked like she was even struggling for her life, even more than I was in that place. And I just didn't feel like talking to her. I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I didn't feel like being there, So she was asking me questions. And I remember I was even so upset. She even upset me more again because she said, I'll keep up with you. I'll keep in touch with you. I didn't hear from her till like the following year.
What?
And I remember at the time she called me, I was so mad. You know why? I needed someone to blame as well. But I was so mad because my life had changed. And I was just like, look how when this woman is calling me. If you had even called me maybe 2 weeks after Seth, maybe my life would have. Obviously, you can't blame her for your choices. But yeah, that was just, Anyway, so I remember I would go and sleep with different guys and come back. I love to worship because I did have a relationship with God. I did. And that's what saved me throughout everything. Because I couldn't pray, I couldn't worship, I couldn't do anything. If people even send me prayers or send me, I would just block you, for a time until you cool down and just talk to me normally. Don't send me prayers. Don't do any of that. I don't want to hear. I wasn't angry with God, well, so I thought. I just didn't feel like, and I didn't know I didn't know what this was, but I remember, so I was saying that it happened on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so I couldn't go to work. So Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember, that week, my siblings are all getting ready to go to work and they leave really early. So I'm just lying down, looking out the window, just watching the sun come up. And God talks to me. God says, Ini, do you trust me? I think about it for a bit, and yes, I do. He says, okay, can you see the sun coming up? And I said, yes. He says, as long as the sun rises every morning, you'll be all right. That carried me, it still carries me now. I tell my kids that, because the days that got really dark and got really helpless and hopeless, That's all I could think about. I just wait for morning. I just wait for morning. Till now, I know when it's 6 a.m. Till now, you can't. I don't even have to look at the clock. I know exactly when it's 6 a.m. because it's the beginning. 5:30 is still dark. 5:45 is still dark. 5:50 is still dark. But once it's like 5:57, once it's 6 a.m., everything becomes
Brighter.
the sun begins to pour in. And so every morning, every day, I'll look out for the sun and things like that. So over the years, a worship song, one line would just come floating into my head, and I grab onto it and I just hold onto it like over and over. I just repeat that one line, not even the whole song, just that one line. And it could be something so random like, "Oh, worship the King," and I just keep repeating it over and over again, or maybe a scripture just come floating into my head, and I just hold on to it. And again, the scripture could be as random as what random scripture could I
Jesus
maybe
wept.
and Jesus wept.
Yo, oh my God.
And it's amazing that I talk about Jesus wept because it was this Bible verse that God used to show me how Jesus was with me in the car. Should I get into that or should I just move on? But there are other stories. So in this whole ordeal is how I picked up pornography. The truth is I did try masturbation, but it wasn't really my thing. Till now I get it, but I don't get it. I don't get masturbation. I feel like it's really a waste of your energy. Porn, I get. I don't understand masturbation. I tried it. It didn't work. It didn't work out. Anyway, but I picked up pornography from the different guys I was with, and especially one of the guys I was with, when before we had sex, he would, ask us to watch porn. And it seemed like a thing. You've heard about this. You've seen it. In movies, you watch soft porn. And so this is the real deal. Okay, you're not supposed to be here, but then anyway, we're all not supposed to be here. So yeah, we
Might as well.
I might as well. So now I picked this, but it wasn't I didn't think I was addicted to it. I didn't think it was even a problem. So when my life became better, I really thought that it's something that I dropped. I thought that was, that's with that life. This is a new life now. So when I met Femi, I wasn't even doing any of that. I wasn't watching porn. That's how I didn't think I was addicted to it. You see, the thing about marriage is that marriage amplifies not just your flaws, but marriage amplifies your secrets, your fears, amplifies, it brings it's like an ocean. It washes things from the deep end,
And
washes
brings
it to the fore. And so things that you don't even think were even a problem or an issue or a challenge, they come out. And so I didn't think I was addicted to porn. I didn't think it was a problem. But then I got married to Femi, and we can finally have legal sex. Like I can have sex and not feel guilty and not go and have to beg God and say, "God, I'm sorry." And so to make sex amazing and to, let's watch porn. Because again, this is what I know.
No.
And, at first, he plays along because, love. And you do. But then I see that he's not comfortable. I see that he's not okay with it. And again, because of love, I just tell him, it's okay if you don't want to. And he's like, yeah, I think that there are other ways for us to spice up sex if we want to. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm open to, But you see, here's the thing. Femi has voiced that his concerns. He's voiced that he's not comfortable with it. So it's obviously not going to be a thing for us. So this is where it now gets tricky. Because I now begin to watch porn
By yourself.
Because before, it's amazing. You're honest, you're open, you share with your loved one. But then he says, no, this is a no. But then
I want to watch it.
And then every time I want to have sex. So I didn't think I was addicted to it because I would watch porn when I wanted to have sex with him. So I would watch porn on my own and then, get in the mood and then come to one day. God asked me, how many people have you had sex with so far? I said, I don't. No, that's
What question is that?
that's not my life anymore.
No.
Like I'm married now. Like as in, I've rededicated my life to you. I'm walking with you. I'm with this amazing man. I'm faithful to him. God's like, no. I asked you again. How many people have I had sex with so far? I didn't really get that question. That question stayed with me for a couple of weeks until one day I was about to go and have sex. Femi was coming back from rehearsal. And I wore rehearsals. Practice. And I'm, trying to set the mood, the atmosphere in the home. And then, I put on porn. And then the Holy Spirit says, so count. I'm just like, I don't, he says, count. Count how many people on the screen.
Wow.
He says, this is how many people you've had sex with right now. And then if your husband comes, you add him to the number, and then you can now count the number of other people. And it's then it dawns on me that this is a problem, you know. And so the Holy Spirit talks to me about that. I repent. I say, okay, this is not it. I'm sorry. This can't be happening. But then it gets trickier again, because it now bubbles up again when I become pregnant. So when you're pregnant, your hormones are raging. And then I'm also reading that if you want the baby to come fast, you don't have sex. And so, I'm a pregnant woman. It's not like, fine, my hormones are raging, but I just need to help myself, yeah?
So that the baby can come
I
quickly.
need to, it's all part of assistance. So I watch porn. But then when I know that it's an issue is that Femi is driving into the driveway, and I had my phone, and I'm just like, what am I doing? And I realized that this is happening more frequently, and I'm like, okay, so this is a bond that has to be broken. And in order for that to happen, I have to tell my husband about it.
Wow.
So you're now
That must
taking
have not
that
been easy.
and bringing it out into the light.
Well, you know what? Every time people say to me that, you share that it must be hard, the truth is, I've come to accept that a gift that God has blessed me with is a gift of vulnerability. And if you've been in bondage for a long time, if you've been in bondage for, at least I've been in bondage for a long time, anything that will give me some semblance of freedom, I'm going to take it. Like my life depends on it, because it does. And if being free from this one thing, because anything that will make me go back to being in bondage to anything, I will run away from it. I'm not even just running away because I want to please God, to be honest. There is that part. I'm running away because I don't want that feeling again. You're suffocating, you're choking, you're not free. You're not like when you're a free man, you can laugh, you can live, you can just be
yourself.
You can exist.
Yeah.
When you're in bondage, when you have secrets, when you have things to hide, you're literally a slave. When you're hurting, you're a slave.
Yeah.
When you're resentful, you're a slave. When all of that is there, oh my goodness. And so if I had to tell him, I knew that I had to tell him. Yes, fine. It wasn't easy in the sense that I knew that I had to, because at this time I started sharing my story, I started preaching. I started like, but then again, this is my husband. If I don't tell him, who am I going to tell? There's God, but then this is God's representation to me here, and I need to be accountable as well. So I tell him. And the thing about Femi that God has gifted him with, because you might be wondering, listening to this story, how did
he take it? I was going to ask. I wanted you to finish.
The thing that God has gifted this man with, that even I have seen, I said, if even me, Seth, I can't be you. Can't be, God has gifted this man with compassion, and it's a divine compassion. It's not. I don't take it for granted. No, it's not. It's not. It's different from just listening to you and saying, "Wow, that happened. Wow, okay, we'll get through it." No, it's different. Like this man goes to war spiritually, on my head, with me, and all of that. And also this man is safe. He's safe. He's a safe space for me. Like, I know we say that word, we throw it around a lot, but Femi is literally the definition of a safe space. Like, I can tell this man, I told you that I told this man my life. I told him, I said, I've had an abortion, I've done this, I've done that, I was raped, I was kidnapped, I've stepped this. And he said, let's pray. Let me tell you something, okay? Let me tell you something.
It's not funny.
Let me tell you something. It's not normal, It's not normal. I think about that every single time. I come to him with things, and to be honest, there was one day I told him, I said, don't you feel somehow that I'm the one that is always come to you with
baggage,
with problems? He said, this is what did I marry this? But he said to me one day, he said, God crafted me for you, and when I look at you, I don't see anything. I see you as God sees you. To me, you're blank. And when a person meets you with that, you want to tell them everything. You also want to give them everything. So I could be in a place and God will highlight something to me and say, go and ask him about his sex life. I'm just like, this is you said? And the truth is, every time I didn't go, the person would come to meet me.
Hi, welcome to another challenge. Today, we're going to be doing a very unique challenge. We have 1 minute to fill these bottles up with as much water as we can, using only these sponges.
May the best man win.
The best woman.
All right, timer on. In 3. No, so that they can see. In 3, 2,
It's going to be
1, go.
Come on, man. Do it.
Away.
What's the time you
Humble style. She's dancing. That means you are the one that has won. How?
I have a lot of practice squeezing. Now we know we used to wash plate. I don't know how to wash plate.
I'll show you my technique. I'll explain technique. How I do it. You really want to know how I do it.
Until next time, we'll see you again on another episode of Love and Everything in Between, the podcast. Goodbye.
Which one do you squeeze the sponge first? When you put it-
Bye. Cut the
you let it
camera.
go so that the water can come in.
Cut the camera.
Bring-
Cut the camera. Black. Go to black.
There's no rush.
Go to black.
Take your time.
Go to black. I hope you are not recording because.
Thank you guys so. We should hold.
Who's there?
Might be Deji.
Yes, probably the
Woo!
How far?
Coming.